SAP HANA is a database management system used to store data and make it accessible through specified applications. It enables analysts to process high volumes of data in real time and store data in a columnar format, helping in faster data transactions and analysis. SAP HANA is recognized as a multifaceted platform that builds up an intelligent enterprise system with its advanced analytics capabilities. Astera Centerprise provides native connectivity to SAP HANA databases, enabling users to read data from or write data to its tables through various built-in objects. You can connect to it through a database source, database destination, database lookup, database write strategies, and any other object where Centerprise supports connectivity to a database. SAP HANA boasts a vast portfolio with solutions for all types of organizations and business models, from ERP and CRM systems to analytics, networking, and digital supply chains. With Astera Centerprise native connectivity for SAP HANA, you can tackle your data integration challenges more effectively. You can easily filter and transform your data, perform easy-to-use integrations with a few clicks, process large datasets through Centerprise bulk load support, and achieve near real-time data synchronization. Let's look at a use case for inventory management using data from an SAP HANA database in Astera Centerprise. We have our inventory data stored in an SAP HANA database. To retrieve this data, we will first establish a connection with the database using a database table source object. Right-click on the database table source object's header and select Properties. This will open the Properties window where the first screen is the database connection screen. Select SAP HANA as the data provider from the drop-down list. The next step is to fill in the required credentials for SAP HANA. The credentials require a user ID, password, server name, database, schema, and port. Once we have filled in the credentials, we must check if the connection with the database has been established. To do that, we have an option for Test Connection. Let's run the test and see if our connection is established successfully. If the connection establishes, the test connection results show that the test completed successfully. And if not, then it points out to the error that is not letting to connect to SAP HANA. Once the test is successful, click OK and proceed to the next screen. On the Pick Table screen, we need to pick out the database table that we want Centerprise to read from SAP HANA database. In this case, we will select the inventory table from the Pick Table drop-down. We have other data reading options that include table partition options, Centerprise layout, trim trailing spaces, dynamic layout, and incremental read options. There is a layout builder on the next screen to modify the object's layout and other screens for defining the where clause and configuration parameters. We have now set the data reading options. Let's click OK. And with that, we've successfully connected to the SAP HANA database in Astera Centerprise. Next, let's get the retail orders dataset using an Excel workbook source object. We will aggregate this data to get quantities ordered against each item and join this aggregated data to the inventory data in the SAP HANA database. Once the inventory and the orders data joins, we now need to check our inventory for each item's stock status against its orders. In an expression transformation, let's give expressions to check the remaining units in stock and get results for the stock status as available or out of stock for each item. The final step is to write this data to our SAP HANA integrated database. To do that, let's use the database table destination and go to its properties. The first screen is the database connection screen. Let's select SAP HANA as our data provider from the drop-down list. Fill in the required credentials such as the user ID, password, server name, database, schema, and port, and test connection. Centerprise will now attempt to connect to SAP HANA database. The test is completed successfully and the connection is established. Click OK and proceed to the next screen. Now create a new table in the database and name it as Updated Inventory. There is an option to specify the table type when you create tables in SAP HANA database. There are two data types that we can choose from: column stored table and row stored table. Let's select the column stored table for this destination. Other data writing options include defining input ports for mapping, database options such as field lengths and null values, parallel loading options, and a few more data loading options like bulk insert and bulk copy options. On the next screen, we have a layout builder where we can modify the object's layout, and screens for config parameters and general options for processing of records and adding comments. We've set the data writing options for SAP HANA database. Let's click OK. We've successfully configured the SAP HANA database to write our updated inventory data to it. If we now preview the output, we have the number of units in stock and each item's respective stock status. Once we run the data flow, Centerprise would create a new table in SAP HANA database and write the transformed data. This concludes the walkthrough on how SAP HANA databases can be connected to and used in Astera Centerprise. You can also visit our documentation site for more information on using Centerprise.